In today's world, North Americans have become the world's heaviest consumers of electricity. Utility prices are soaring, and the Canadian government is helplessly trying to reduce its energy consumption. However, a group of students at Green Corridor are trying to raise awareness for an energy-efficient design that could change the world and the way people live.
Home Depot-wise, we're pretty set. We just have to set up a presentation date and time. We should probably get that within the next week or two. Home Hardware is still kind of getting the runaround because the owner only comes in for a few hours a week. So we're still working on trying to get a hold of him. But we've heard some positive things so far from both Rod and Noel and the Home Hardware staff themselves.
Alright, so we probably just going to be waiting on a couple of callbacks for a while then.
Can you explain to the viewers what exactly Earthship is and its purpose?
An Earthship is actually something that's complex to explain but very basic in its construction methods. In North America, the average household actually spends 9% of their utility bills on heating and cooling. So essentially, the Earthship is a structure that utilizes the sun to heat and cool the building using unconventional building materials ranging from dirt, car tires to glass bottles or plastic bottles and even cans. And all that will add up to reduce the cost to $0.
Good evening, guys. As you know, the midterms are approaching, and just want to know the update on Earthship, on systems required for Earthship, Sharia and material software construction, Omar.
Yeah, so I've researched about the materials that we require to make the Earthship and the software that we need to accurately know how much materials to use.
Alright, and we also look at the systems which are required for an Earthship, and we researched about water, electricity, sewage, and food production.
I've researched about the materials required to create an Earthship, and I've come up with the following: bottles, can, concrete, tire, and dirt.
Alright, and we also looked into the systems required to run an Earthship, and there are water, electricity, sewage, and food production.
Okay, so material calculator software will be developed to assist first-time constructors of Earthships. The calculator will allow builders to gather accurate amount of materials before construction begins. The calculator will be able to identify how many tires, cans, or bottles are required to construct a wall of a specific size. Construction of the Earthship starts with constructing walls made out of tires. Tires will naturally regulate indoor temperature by trapping the heat from the sun. The exterior from the Earthship consists of large windows that allow maximum heat from the sun to enter the building. The roof of the building has solar panels which are directly connected to the power operating module located within the building. The roof of the building is heavily insulated with earth or adobe. Earthships are designed to operate off the grid, and they accomplish this by designing the building with materials that allow for thermal heating and cooling.
Alright, most of the water used in Earthship comes from the local environment without bringing in water from auxiliary systems. The roof of the Earthship usually has a silt catching device which channels the water into a cistern. The cisterns are led into a central network that feeds a water organization module which acts as a purification center. Once the water is used, it becomes grey water and is named after its cloudy grey appearance. Filtering grey water can be done through either a mechanical system or biological systems. Earthships recycle some grey water and use it as a means of irrigation for vegetable and fruit gardens. Once grey water is filtered, it becomes black water, which is filtered through dewatering and is then used for fertilization.
Can you provide us with a brief rundown of what the bylaws and building permits are?
Another section of bylaws is how much snow it can take, since we are planning to build our Earthship maybe on a side of a hill or something. So specified snow loads on roofs vary accordingly to geographical location, climate, site exposure, shape, type of roof, and also from winter to another. To account for these varying conditions, a specified snow load on a roof is expressed in the following formula. What is a building permit? A building permit is a license. It grants legal permission to start construction of a building project. It gives building officials a means to enforce requirements of various standards. In addition to planning approvals and building permit which are needed for building project, there are other permits which need approval. For example, a septic tank permit required for a new septic system. In cottage areas, a permit may be required from Ministry of Natural Resources before you can do any construction.
The design is an important part of the project. It helps in gaining people's interest in the concept of our work. My job as the project architect is to develop a master plan and technical drawings in coordination with the team's bylaws factors. as building such an unconventional building like our Earthship will be scrutinized heavily by city inspectors. So in coordination with me, Albert is going to go into detail about our 3D renderings.
So my job as part of the design team is to cover the rendering of the AutoCAD plan that John did. Using 3ds Max, the wall section of the master plan was extruded and rendered. It is then integrated in our final rendering of the project.
How do you plan to fund this project?
Right, I think everything's gone pretty well so far, but I think one of the things we haven't been focusing on enough is our budget, so we should start planning around that and how we're going to be able to accomplish getting everything we need in terms.
Various companies are interested in funding environmentally friendly projects, and as of now there's a lot of support for classroom projects. We called places such as banks and hardware stores. A couple of managers gave us positive responses. They told us to come for an appointment and present our project to them. So this is how we plan to move forward.
The not-for-profit charity organization number that Rod gave us really helps because it helps with Home Depot. They kind of need that in order to give us funding, and same with Home Hardware. So it sounds very encouraging that we'll be able to get enough funding to plan for our budget that's still relatively low. But I think going forward, once we get the funding, we're also going to have to look into some obstacles that we may have to overcome, such as just random expenses and stuff like that, and especially trying to get enough bottles, which isn't going to be easy. So I think we should start planning for ways to get some extra funding on our own, such as like some events, maybe a pub night, a bottle drive, something like that. Some way that we can get enough to cover our expenses going into December.
At this point in our schedule, the team has agreed on setting the final objective in the design and construction of a bottled wall, which will display our website address, bringing the viewers to our website where more information about the Earthship can be obtained.